Mornings at Arcan Ridge begin around 5. For Helen, they begin as they end, with the Bible. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Polly, meanwhile, is brought up to breakfast. Sometimes something is missing from the tray. Then it is Helen who goes downstairs to fetch it. Polly knows that it pleases Helen to wait upon her when she can. Everywhere else, except in her own familiar house, it is Helen who must be waited upon by Polly. Here, where every table, every chair, every dish in the cupboard is her intimate friend, Helen can move freely and independently. Though in this quiet house, Polly need not speak aloud to Helen, she usually does. It helps to drive back the silence. In her dressing, Helen is completely independent. She knows her clothes and where to find them, even to a stray belt. Every morning, Helen goes for a walk along a 1,000-foot handrail built by a loving friend to guide her. 1,000 feet where she is alone and free. The walk seldom varies, but for Helen it is always full of small, unexpected events. Helen is known from childhood what those with sight cannot realize, that one does not need eyes to see the world. By 8 o'clock, Helen and Polly have made their beds. Polly has finished the household tasks, and their business of the day begins. Even at home, they carry the responsibilities and obligations of public figures. Their desk is never clear. The mail piles up while they are away, and every morning more comes in. The bulky packages are books in Braille. They must wait. The letters will be gone through after Polly finishes spelling out the morning headlines. Helen is emphatic about keeping in touch with world events. But the mail looms large. A few of the letters are personal ones from friends, but most of them are requests for something. From New Zealand.
Would you kindly send a message to the Royal Blind Institute on the occasion of their opening?
From Massachusetts.
I have written a pamphlet on teaching the deaf. Please read it and let me have your comments.
From India.
I am going slowly blind. In the United States is a cure. Can you help me?
From New York.
I have chosen you as the subject of my term paper. Would you write me a long letter telling me all about yourself?
After the mail, Helen goes to her own study to work. There are reports to be made out, speeches and articles to be prepared. So far as possible, she does her own research. She locates her reference books by the Braille lettering along the edge. In her work, she will not indulge herself because she is handicapped. Everyone has his own handicaps, Helen says. It just happens to be the handicap of the blind that they cannot see, of the deaf that they cannot hear. She does her own typing. Her speeches she does on her Braille typewriter, so she can go over them herself for correction. The machine has only 6 keys because all Braille letters are made by the combination and placement of 6 raised dots. For her letters, she uses a regular typewriter. She is fast and accurate, but she has Polly check her letters. Being blind, she cannot permit herself the casual mistakes of the seeing. If there are mistakes, Helen types the letter again. From the vibrations of a buzzer, Helen knows when it is time for lunch. The glint of crystals is the one thing Helen thinks she remembers seeing as a baby, before she went blind. Flowers are among her greatest pleasures. Helen's home is not a sad place, because she is not a sad woman. She's extraordinarily gay. She goes toward each new experience with the joy of a child. On weekdays, there are only 3 for lunch: Helen and Polly, and Anne, who comes in to help them with the housework. Their days are too full for social engagements. But at tea time, they relax and catch up with their personal mail. Friends may come in. May turn to politics or world affairs. Helen has strong views on these, and she has the courage to express them even when they are not popular. She also likes a good story and appreciates a joke as much as anyone else. At the Dyker Street Nursery, they're experimenting with placing sightless children and seeing children together. It is important to accustom the blind to the give and take of normal, everyday life. At the Lexington School for the Deaf, she watches children at play. Today they have a new game. From blowing a piece of paper, they are learning to say who, what, when, why, like ordinary children. From a life lived mostly for others, Helen manages to save some part for herself. They are the necessary things like shopping. The excitement of the city, its vibrations under her feet, she loves. She enjoys the labor of choosing and buying. She and Polly must shop with economy, but as they know it is part of Helen's job to look well in public, they must also shop with a great deal of care. Then, from time to time, there is home again, where they sit among familiar things with curtains drawn, and are simply old friends. There is peace and quiet. There is music. There are also the dishes to be washed. As Polly washes the dishes, Helen shells pecans. Helen keeps a careful check on Polly. But when the radio is playing, it is hard to keep Helen's hand on her work. Then there is bed. This, then, is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness